beautiful people and maybe even intelligent pets watching this, all of whom I believe have played or been interested in the Fallout universe. Today, as you can understand, we're going to be looking at a slightly weirder theme to the world. So to begin, I'm going to have to take you through a bit of an intro to Fallout before getting to the point because of content and context. So we'll just call it context. Better that way. The universe of Fallout follows our own until we hit the end of World War II. And instead of working towards the goal that we seem to have, they let the technology guys work super hard and basically gave them the keys to the kingdom. Totally unlike us. And you can get rid of that Elon Musk picture that you've got right there. So, in this world, eventually we bombed the hell out of each other because America had a leader who had an erection exclusively for McCarthyism and its authoritarian aura. Totally, again, unlike how the USA has been in our timeline, or the UK for that matter. Another totally unrealistic idea from the Fallout timeline is that Western capitalist worlds refuse to use any power other than nuclear and fossil fuels, no matter the cost or constant war effort that was required to achieve it, and eventually the price of these resources rocketed to $7,450.99 per gallon, which, to give some perspective, according to the AA figures as of January 2021, on average $7.31 per gallon. However, you never know where we'll be in 50 years, eh? Anyway, with that, there is a built-in system of needing a financial balance in the country when people emerge into this new nuclear wasteland. So what they do is they create a similar system to how a lot of the current currencies are meant to be built. So they pick something that is hard to replicate, and then they measure it against a finite or rare resource, giving the currency worth. The currency system is bottle caps, and I know there's a lot of different specifics, but I'm going to go with the most recent releases rules, which means that any crimped ridge bottle cap was then backed with clean water as a resource that was made available through the filtration work of traders and others, allowing there to be a gold standard, as it were. With that in mind, we are, as I said, going to be going by the rules given by Fallout 76 and Fallout 4, meaning that bottle caps can be acquired from not only Nuka-Cola, but all of its variants, Sunset Sarsaparilla, Vim, alcohol such as beer, and other such things. This is going to allow us to do a bit of maths in a bit, just to see what the effect of this might take. However, there is a massive issue in the form of Fallout 3's campaign end, as well as some areas of New Vegas, and as well as including the self-player built settlements in Fallout 4. That problem is water purifiers. You see, from a humanity-centric, let's make the world a better place ideology, these things are amazing, and the more the merrier. On the other hand, one small problem with measuring your currency against something that is supposed to be traded against that resource, it can't be something that is so easily acquired elsewhere. That would be like me being able to literally make gold out of something really simple. That would break an economy. Imagine if a company like Bethesda just didn't get how that worked. With that in mind, we have to think about the fact that now the value of bottle caps will live entirely on the fact that counterfeiting them is going to be difficult and cannot be found that easily. Or can they? Well, I looked it up. And I will say that I will not be counting anything in the random loot lists because that is not fair, and I will, however, be looking at an average on how many caps per person, then work on adding that to what we know from there. So let's get started. So for Fallout 1, I'm going to try and find an average for each civilian. For this, we're going to use all the noted amount of caps for each named character, thanks to fallout.fandom.com, and the inventories listed there. So I've made this number with actual numbered amounts, and the equation is as follows. So to do this, we worked out the amount of caps in the named inventories, which looks like this. And in 4,818 from inventories, there is, which was taken over 42 inventories alongside 623 caps found in locations. Also on the wiki page, we discovered that the total number of characters in Fallout 4 is 181. So with this information, our equation looks a little more like this. With that equation, there are approximately 62 to 63 caps per person in the Fallout 1. Then if we want to find out how many caps are around in Fallout 1, we need to do this. Now for the next step, we need to look at Fallout 76. This one will be tricky, so I may have to apply some small estimates on character count, etc. So for Fallout 76, our equation will look a bit like this. Alongside this, there are the quest rewards, which give us our next equation, which looks something like this. This is based on the numbers I had at the time, which was the last recorded point checked was February 2021. With that, before we reach the time of Fallout 2, we do not really have to worry about some of these caps either being handed down, traded between people, or otherwise already having been counted that we are looking at and all that. This is because they are on two separate parts of the country, and there is a low chance of those same caps being counted, and also we have not hit a point of where the same areas and people have shown up yet. With that in mind, we now have a total of 177,023 caps accounted for, and can think about the value of them from there. Now, there is one little bit of maths we have to do in our little preface, which is to get a feel of the total number of caps across the entire wasteland. So according to the sources used by thegamer.com, Fallout 76 covers a total of 24,036 square miles, and Fallout 1 covers 60,917 square miles. To make the maths easier on us, we're going to then take an average amount of caps over the entire USA, so that we just have to use this equation here. Now that puts 791,816,137.9 caps over the entire USA, but obviously you can't have a decimal, so we'll round that up. And so therefore we have 791,816,138 caps. Now, onto the inflation part, as that's obviously what I've titled this video after, and you're probably wondering, where is this new money coming from? That's easy. The drinks. So let's get started. Before I start this, I'm going to do some averages and be doing things based on the Fallout Wiki for trustworthy locations for items, things that obviously will load up pretty much every time the game is loaded for the vanilla state. Nothing to do with random lists or anything for ones you find in locations. So first of all, we're going to look at Nuka-Cola and the variants and beers in Fallout 1 and 2. So in Fallout 1, there are a total of 6 named bottles of Nuka-Cola, with a further variable of bottles found in stores, but I will be dealing with stores shortly, as well as 2 beers. In Fallout 2, there are 46 findable beers and 24 findable Nuka-Colas. Fallout 3 has 536 findable beers and 235 findable Nuka-Colas in their and the variable forms therein. In Fallout New Vegas, there is approximately 161 beers, plus an additional 13 irradiated ones, 195 Nuka-Cola and variant sodas, and in Fallout 4, there is 144 beers of various varieties, 288 Nuka-Colas and other sodas, as well as Fallout 76 having 64 locatable beers and 67 locatable Nuka-Colas and other sodas. This means that it would work out without stores that there is a total of 1,725 bottles over the landmass that we've covered so far. So to work out the total of America, we have to do this. So there are a prospective 77,159 bottles across America with the extrapolated data. Then in the Bethesda variants, there is a random roll situation per store. Now, thanks to my personal research using New Vegas, as it was the fastest to load in, etc., over the course of 10 merchants, because there was a file corruption and it constantly kept crashing, so I couldn't do any more, there is an average of 7.8 beers, 4.3 Nuka-Colas / variants, and 4.3 Sunset Sarsaparillas / other sodas such as Vim. So if we extrapolate from what we have with 10 shops in Fallout 1, 19 shops in Fallout 2, 35 shops in Fallout 3, 55 shops in Fallout New Vegas, 55 shops in Fallout 4, and 33 shops in Fallout 76, so far, we can do the maths, and the shop's situation looks like this. That leaves 151,848 bottles across America in the post-nuclear wasteland in stores, which then leads to a total of each giving an additional cap to the economic system. Next up, we need to start looking at vending machines. So we have to do a few rolls in what percentages have what information and all that kind of thing. So we have to start finding the amount of machines across post-war America, which is found here. And so from this, we can do the following. Now, with this, we need to translate this equation into the drop amount. So obviously, we are going to have to do these three different equations, and they are going to end up with these results. So, vending machines now bring in 42,244 caps across post-war America. So if we look at this, there is a total potential of 792,087,389 caps sitting across the entire of post-war America. Now, before Fallout 3 and the water purifier, there is an average of one cap being equivalent to 1 fluid ounce of water. So if we ignore the purifiers and we look at how much water we would need to purify to keep caps at the same level of value, we would need 792,087,389 fluid ounces, or 22,505,626.50890034 litres, or 22,505,626,508.90034 centimeters cubed of water area, which is, if we do this lovely equation, we discover that in fact that amount is 2.063138778535202 times the amount of water that would fit inside the Grand Canyon. Now, as far as the British pound sterling is measured against gold, if you imagine that that much gold would be needed to balance a currency, that would be obscene. So basically, all in all, Bethesda, you have to look to change the currency in your Fallout games, because otherwise you'll have to write a plot about how the financial collapse works in a world where if somebody nicks a tenner from you, you're allowed to shoot them until they become a paste. And I have to say, that's probably not going to be an easy feat. Or, better yet, you could focus on making the series less about exchange and the hoarding of wealth, and more about the support of people and the betterment of humanity in a nightmare wasteland. So anti-capitalist. And you know, if you need a hand with writing that second one, do call me. Seriously, I quite enjoy the things you make, and I would like to be part of it, and I will happily help you if you pay me. Hey, thanks for watching that video. Hope you enjoyed. If you want to support me and the projects that I'm doing here, and the footage of the little dog in the background, please do pop a little bit down in the Patreon below, and just check out the links at the bottom there. Give it a subscribe, give it a like, do whatever you feel is right. But yeah, because then I can do more of this, and I can see what part of this you really like. So, yep, thanks. Catch you later.